We're going to show you the intricate details on how to pour a proper black and tan.
Or do you mean a half and half?
We'll talk about that in this episode. But we're also going to talk about a tool that you might want to use.
So join us on this double draft adventure. Well, welcome to this BeerGuysTV Brewcast. Greg and Shane here from our studio in Glencoe, Minnesota. We've got kind of a fun one for you this time around.
Yeah, this is going to be a treat.
Yeah, a treat indeed.
A treat, yeah. And as you can see, we've got two different beers.
Yep.
Now, you may think, are we going to, compare these? Or...
Right, we're review them each or whatever. Nope.
Not this time.
We're going to try to teach you something.
And we're going to have these beers together.
Yeah. In what's known as
a black and tan.
Or a half and half.
A half and half. So in Ireland, they don't call them black and tans.
Yeah, that's right.
In Ireland, they call them halves and halves, or half and halves.
Right.
Half and halves?
Half and halves. Half and halves.
Half and halves.
It's like not half and halves.
Half and halves. Sounds like a band.
It does, doesn't it? But yeah, we're going to get into the details of how to make a proper black and tan, what beers are normally used, some options to it, and we're going to demonstrate the proper way to do so.
Yeah.
So stick around for that, and it should be interesting. We'll see if we can do it right. See if we're each going to do it, so we'll see who's got this down.
Yeah, it's a delicate procedure. You don't want to break the beer, right?
Yep.
And that basically means where the top half mixes with the bottom half. And I mean, the flavor is good yet, but it's just not as fun.
Not as aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, yeah. So,
yeah, you were saying, I'm sorry.
So these two beers, this is a Boddingtons Pub Ale.
Yeah,
right?
it's a pale gold ale.
Yep.
And you don't have to use a Boddingtons either.
Traditionally, they're made with a Bass ale.
With a Bass ale is very common, and by rights you could use a Harps lager or really any pale ale, any lighter
colored beer.
Yeah, the density on the Guinness is kind of the preferred top half for the most, but it can be other stouts as well. So,
yeah, I've had them with a different stout.
Okay, sure.
One of our favorite brew pubs nearby.
Hayes.
Yeah, he does halves and halves with half and halves.
Yep.
I got the S in there the first time again.
Halves and halves.
With his Irish stout.
Sure.
And then he'll do like a red ale or whatever you want for the bottom half.
Yeah, and you can experiment.
Yeah, I've tried it with an IPA before.
Yeah,
it doesn't quite match the stout.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe a black IPA would. I don't know if a black IPA would float on top.
Well, I think some of them it's with for Guinness, for example, the density of the beer, it's more inclined to stay on top of the other beers.
Yeah.
So you want a beer that mixes, especially if you want it to look good. Now it might taste the same, but you want it to look good. That's part of the fun.
A couple of cool things about these cans. They each have a widget inside, right? And this one, Guinness designed or invented the widget, right? I'll explain what that is in a moment. And Boddingtons, they call theirs the
draft flow system.
The draft flow system.
Yeah.
It's essentially the same thing.
It's a widget.
It's a widget. What it is, it's a sphere inside the can that's filled with nitrogen. And when you pop these open, it releases the pressure, and the nitrogen penetrates through the beer, and it makes it a really nice, as if it's right off the draft.
Exactly. Have you ever been at the bar and ordered one, or have seen somebody else get a Guinness? They got that long spout, and they pull it, and then it's got that big creamy head, and then you see it. It looks like it's alive.
Yeah,
because that's the nitrogen in it.
Right. All the foam
really smooths the beer out too.
It does, and it's really good. So listen to this as we open this can.
Whoa! Oh. Sound like it's alive. It looks like it's alive.
So the nitrogen's coming up.
Yeah, and so it's, man overboard. Hey,
that's all right.
We'll get the maid in later.
We'll get that later. So we want to let this settle just a moment. Boddingtons is also brewed with honey. You got the little bees on there. You can kind of see.
Sure, right? Got a little bit of sweetness to it.
So this is the tan part of the black and tan, and this will be poured in the bottom. And we actually got official Guinness glasses.
Well, look at that.
I know. Look at that. I gave Greg the nicer one. Mine's been through the dishwasher a few times.
You've made a few of these.
It's probably been on the sidewalk too a couple times. Who knows?
Too many black and tans?
Exactly. Exactly. So I'm going to try to pour this, and you want to pour this so there's just a little bit of foam as a layer to buffer the top half.
You've made quite a few of these. I've only made a few over time. So I'm going to watch you. I'll learn from the
Yeah,
master, and you will too.
we're gonna find that. There we go. We're gonna find that spot. Right? It's a pretty full can,
Yeah, this ought to be fun. That's okay. We already made a mess anyway.
right? All right.
There we go.
So here
There
we
we go.
go.
Now you're cooking.
So we want to get just about half the can in there because these are pint glasses.
Okay.
Now
Oh,
you
that
got a
looks.
little bit of a foam.
Yep, and you still got a little bit of nitrogen
I'll
liveliness
pass
there.
that one to you.
Shall I go ahead and pour now?
You pour yours now. Yeah.
Here I go. I'm kind of trying to follow your lead without making the mess. But,
Well,
I think.
we'll see what happens with the,
Yeah. Good luck with that. I
with the
know.
Guinness. Make sure you get a little. There you go.
There. Look at that.
I might have cheated you out a little
That's
bit there,
okay.
but that's
That's
right. You'll
okay. That's
you'll end up with more on the black side of it,
You hear that? That's the draft flow system
Yeah.
floating around there,
Right.
AKA widget.
You said you weren't going to make a mess in here. You're trying to.
I
wipe
know.
your
I'm
glass
not
over.
throwing beer all over the place. Hey, that's what we do here. Yeah, that one
All
too is
right.
quite lively.
Same thing.
Yeah, you let it sit for a little bit.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I kind of cut you off earlier. You were talking about the black and tan in Ireland. They don't refer to them that because that's like a negative. The black and tans were the mean, what do you call them?
Well, yeah, I'll have to look at my notes. The Royal Irish Constabulary Reserve Force.
Okay.
They were known as black and tans, and the reason is because their uniforms. They had tan pants and a black top.
Okay, so
Black
they look kind of
jackets,
intimidating, and they're quite
violent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess
and
they.
during the Irish
Right.
Freedom War, right?
Yep. Anyway, they had their thing going on, and so the black and tans were the bad guys. And,
Right.
And
So they don't call these black and tans, but half and halves. But it is the same thing. Now,
well, hey, what do you got there?
This is a tool. This is actually a Guinness.
Oh, you got the real deal.
I got the real deal, right?
You just didn't take something out of Chris's silverware drawer.
I did not. But this is actually made for making these black and tans, right? It's a spoon. You can use a tablespoon
You
or
can.
anything that kind of. The idea is to slow down the pour so
it
that
doesn't
just doesn't mix,
it doesn't break.
doesn't break, and so
See,
this
I
is
learned
the trick.
something.
This is the trick here.
Okay, I got to watch this closely.
Yeah, you gotta-
too.
You got to do this slowly, right? Nope.
Well,
No,
that's slow enough.
it's kind of breaking, so
Oh,
you want to kind of start and then kind of get a layer of the stout on the top there.
Oh, and then you can kind of.
I know it's a slow process. In the meantime, tell us a little bit about these beers, Greg.
Well, Guinness, of course, is brewed out of Ireland, and it's in St. James Gate in Dublin is where the Guinness brewery is, and it's imported here to the U.S. But they've been around for a long time, and I talked to several people that have gone over there and toured the brewery, and they said it tastes better over there. But that's always the case, isn't it?
Sure.
Go to the source. I mean, how can you go wrong?
Well, right.
But Guinness Brewing, it's people think of a dark beer, they think of Guinness, and of course we know that to us it's kind of a lighter beer, and it's only 4.1% on the ABV, so it's not a big strong beer. They think, oh, it's dark and big, heavy, boo, but it's really actually fairly light.
It's got a dark flavor.
It's got a darker flavor,
yeah.
right? Not like some of the ones that we like, but that's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's 4.1% on the ABV, and it's got the nitrogen widget. That's the widget that they originally invented.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty cool deal. So
It is.
and you can also get it in bottles, and you can they got different varieties of their stout. They got the 4 and extra stout. I really like that one, and their extra stout. But anyway, this is a great one because it's just like coming off the tap here. So Boddingtons Pale Ale, Golden Pale Ale. It's Gold Pale Ale.
Yeah.
Anyway, that one's at 4.6% on the ABV. So that too isn't a big, strong, heavy beer. But like you said, it's got a little bit of honey in it, and it smooths it out a little bit. So it makes a nice combination here. But the original, as you mentioned, most people use Bass Ale, or you can, again, use any lager or pale ale that you like.
Yeah.
And again, feel free to experiment. As you see, Shane is slowly but surely filling his glass with beer there.
Well, and when you do it out of cans, it's a slow process. Now, if you could do it out of the tap,
Oh yeah,
out of a draft, it's faster because the spouts are close to you kind of layer it right on top of the other one. Here, we're kind of dripping from a higher elevation.
Yep.
I've seen some people actually dip a spoon. They make their own spoon that they could dip closer to the.
Oh, so
to the
it
other
doesn't
one.
fall as much.
Oh my, yeah, it's starting to break there a little bit.
Yeah, let's see if it comes back a little bit.
Right.
Looks like it's coming back. You're getting lucky. You're lucky so
Yeah,
far.
So far.
But Hey, well, also real quick, if you get a chance, hit the like button below there, will you? We'd appreciate
Yeah,
that, and subscribe. And
that helps us a lot.
it
Oh,
does. And comment as well. Tell us what you think. If you like black and tans, or if you make your own, or have any suggestions, let us know. We appreciate the help.
yeah,
But yeah, you're getting there, Shane. You're getting there.
I'm getting there, but
We might have to
it's
do a time lapse video
yeah,
thing here. But it looks good. I just like the way they look.
I know.
It got a kind of a fun people when you order these at a bar or restaurant, you always get a double take. Somebody that has never seen one go, "What are you
What?
drinking
Yeah.
there?" Uh,
Well, as long as I'm pouring, Greg, I'm going to ask you a question.
well, yeah, what would that be?
Could you remember the first time you had a black and tan, or maybe the favorite time you had a black and tan?
Hmm. I kind of I kind of remember both. The first time I ever had one was at Old Chicago in Colorado Springs, Colorado, with
Okay.
my buddy Mike. And he goes, "Hey, try one of these black and tans." I'm like, a who and a what? What is that? That was kind of new to craft beer anyway at that point. And at first, I was like, I don't know. But so that was my first time. But I can say my favorite time was at a
I'm going to stop there. I think that's about half.
okay. I was at a hotel. I was staying at a hotel when I was doing the NASCAR deal, and I stayed at a bar, and they said they featured black and tans. I said, "Oh, I'll try one," and then they made it with the traditional Guinness and Bass, and it was delicious. And I stayed there for like 4 nights, and I had one every night.
Oh,
I
wow.
couldn't resist. I thought, well, I can get a good one. I'm going for it.
There you go.
But I've also had them at Old Chicago since, and they're good. You can get a variety of them too. You can get the Eclipse, they call it, or you can get the Black and Blue, which is
Oh,
I believe, with Blue Moon on the bottom
okay.
and Guinness on top. That's pretty good too. So see, there's varieties. Well, here I go.
Here you
I'm gonna
go.
take a stab at this. I'm gonna see if I can.
It's a slow
Well,
process.
I gotta be a little more patient. Am I messing it up already?
No, no. Well, I'd slow down just a little bit. Try to do more than one stream. That's the idea, is to get
Oh,
2 or 3 streams going
so
off that
it's
spoon.
not.
So lift the spoon up a little flatter.
Oh, I see. Yep. So you're one of those
There you
flat
go.
spooners.
Oh yeah.
That's
Well, the first time I had one, I could tell you it was at the Renaissance Festival in Minnesota.
oh really?
Yeah, and I saw that on the menu. It's a black and tan. I wonder what that is. I asked what that was, and they said, "Well, it's half Bass Ale and half Guinness." Well, all right, I'll try it.
Sure. Why not?
Well,
Something
then they
different.
hand it to me, and it looks like this, and I'm going, "What kind of voodoo magic is that? What the heck?"
That's not making me pour too fast.
Sorry. So then, so that day, I think I had 6 of them.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, right? And of course,
Good thing they're low ABV.
they're low ABV and they're small. I mean, they don't.
Oh, they don't
They're
give you
not
they don't
pints.
give you a big
No,
pint of it, yeah.
they give you about 10 ounces worth. But it was like, wow, this is nice and refreshing. I like the flavor mix. I've had the first time I've had this with Boddingtons is at a local restaurant in Minnesota.
Oh,
Yeah, called what's it called? I keep forgetting.
where's
In
that?
in Maple Plain,
Oh, McGarry's Pub.
McGarry's Pub. Yep, and they use
Good food
Boddingtons.
there.
They have Boddingtons on tap,
Oh,
and so they do this on tap, and I thought that the flavor combination was tremendous.
I'm going a little faster, you see there.
Yeah, yeah. Yours,
But am I making a mess of it?
no, I mean, it's still holding together pretty good. Now, obviously, I mean the beers they're not necessarily they're a little bit different densities, but I mean they're so close. Um,
See, I picked
there
up
you
the pace
go.
here a little bit, and I think
There
it
you
kind of
go.
came out okay.
Yeah.
You can hear the widget in that one too. Well,
Wow.
you brought the real spoon. How about you? I thought you said you were going to bring a spoon. I thought, okay, but you got the real deal here.
So in England, back in the 1700s, they used to mix beers, and that's kind of where this started. Um,
Yeah, and they call them threads.
well, they had a
Uh,
3 thread and a 5 thread way back in. Well, it might still be this today, but they would tax the malts that would brew beer,
okay.
and so when alehouses brewed a stronger beer, it was a higher tax.
Oh, I see.
Yep.
So,
So they would mix the stronger beer with a lower ABV beer to kind of get around paying tax on the lower ABV beer.
oh,
But then,
smart.
so they'd mix these concoctions, and the 3 thread was like a 1 barrel of strong ale with 2 barrels of smaller ales, they call them,
Okay.
and that would it's less expensive for the ale house to sell, but yet the patrons got a higher ABV.
Mm. And they
Stronger
learn to
beer.
kind of like those mixtures too,
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
the
yeah.
Five Threads is similar, but with 5 different barrels or whatever.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
mixing beer is not new.
Okay,
A
yeah.
shandy is a mixed beer. It's
Oh, sure.
lemonade and beer.
Right, right.
Yeah.
When we were in England, we had one. It was, I don't know if it was a shandy, but that was back in the '90s, and it was called a lager top. And they basically
Oh,
took the
sure.
lager and then they topped it off with lemonade.
Yep.
And so that's very similar.
Yep.
Probably the precursor to shandies, maybe.
That's
I
right.
don't know. So, but
So, okay, looking at this,
yeah,
how would you judge that? Is that pretty even?
I think so.
Pretty
I
close,
think
huh?
that's pretty dang close there, Shane. Not bad for a couple of
Couple of
small town beer guys.
That's right.
Yeah.
So now let's give this a taste, but I think it'll be wonderful.
Yeah.
So with that, hey, beers to ya.
Yeah.
Let's see what this tastes like here.
Looks delicious. Not too shabby at all.
Yeah. Now I got more Guinness than that, but I did get a little bit of the
It just
Boddingtons.
started to sneak in underneath there.
Yep.
We'll get down a little bit farther, then the bottom ale will start to come through.
Got a little mustache.
Yeah, well, it's a
mustache
good
there.
thing this thing's white, right? Back in the day, that wouldn't have worked out. Yeah, but
So drinking
benefits.
these, you're not going to be sipping on them. You want to get some gulps going because that's going to mix the flavors.
And with that draft kind of a feel to it, they go down easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like a big heavy beer. And again, that light ABV is helpful in that regard. They're very tasty.
They are.
And it's something different as well. And again, you don't have to do it exactly as we do, but obviously that turned out well. And if you make your own spoon, like Shane was talking about, you get it lower down in there, you could probably be a little more aggressive on the pour.
I've seen where they just bend the spoon straight up.
Oh, yeah.
And then they'll hold it, and then as they pour, they'll hold it really close to the foam.
Oh,
As they pour, they just come up with that
I
pour, and then that's how it helps keep this from breaking.
see. Sure, gotcha. Yeah.
So yeah, that's not a bad black and tan right there.
No, I'd say you done good.
We done
We
good.
we done good, Shane.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, another taste, hey?
Yeah, I think I got to go in and see if we can get some of that Boddingtons off the bottom there.
Oh yeah, a lot more.
Mm.
I mean, the Boddingtons got that sweetness
Mm-hmm.
that really adds to the stout. Now, a Guinness is not sweet. It's not a sweet stout like some of the stouts that craft breweries make.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of a regular beer that's just a darker flavor.
Yep.
But Boddingtons has that sweetness from the honey, gives it a nice dimension to this black and tan here. And I would say that is a beautiful beer.
And again, you can make your own variations and concoctions. Experiment. Let us know what you've come up with. It'll be kind of interesting to see what people have. But and if you go out and order one, watch them as they make it. Of course, when they're doing it off the tap, it'll be a lot faster. It won't be like the pokey deal we did there. But hey, that's okay. When you're doing it fun at home, that's part of the fun.
Yeah, the anticipation of having this and making sure that it doesn't break. That's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, it still will taste fine.
Oh,
just you want the look. That's what it's all about. So, hey, you brought the right glasses, so that helps.
Well, yeah.
Well,
This is
you got to do, but
makes it fun.
yeah. And speaking of fun, if you like this video, make sure you watch some of the other ones that we've got, and just check out some of the other options and the things that we talk about.
Yeah.
But
check it out. And this is a black and tan.
Yep. Make yours and
enjoy.
Enjoy. I know we do.
Mm-hmm.